visiting Chalamet, and now it's on my resume. It's not my face they see, 'cause they don't know me, and that's okay. These are the parts I play, filling in plot holes with all sorts of roles, 'cause there's no small roles, no small roles, no small roles.
Welcome to No Small Roles. This is the show where I speak with fellow actors about their careers and about some of their smaller roles in big movies and TV, and how these roles are in fact not at all small for the actors who play them. Now, today's guest is my friend Christine Chang. She's one of the kindest, most supportive, most humble about her experience and her acting abilities, most married actors that I know, and I would say one of the least actory actors that I know. Everybody welcome Christine Chang. Christine, thank you for doing this.
Thanks for having me, Ian. I'm so excited to chat with you.
I'm so happy we could finally do this. So everyone knows you from a bunch of things, a lot of indies as well. I'm going to just name some of the things, and here they are. The Waiting Room, The Cocks of the Walk, East of Hollywood, The Upside, Madam Secretary, Mozart in the Jungle, The Other Two, Lucky Grandma, Law and Order SVU, New Amsterdam, Étoile, again, a bunch of indies. And you've done stage, right? Or at least I know you've auditioned for stage recently.
Yeah. No, I haven't done it, although I would really love to, because that was my training was at the William Esser Studio, which is like Meisner based, and it was all pretty much plays that we used in our classes. So that's something I really want to do.
I didn't even know, I don't think I knew you did that. You're like a fancy pants actor. I haven't done a whole lot of stage myself, but I certainly don't have that kind of training that you do. Don't tell anyone. I'm very well trained, everybody.
You are very well trained.
Thank you for lying, Christine. So I don't know if you've watched before, but I do have, I start with the most emotional question just to kind of break the ice and just get to the meat of it. But do you prefer grilled cheese with or without tomato?
I'm a with.
A with, okay. And why? I never asked that question, but why?
I like it with tomato and onion.
Oh, whoa, that's a whole new thing.
I have this strange thing. My mom drilled it into me when I was younger that I should always eat some sort of vegetable, like pretty much every meal. So to me, it's like, oh, if you add tomato or an onion, it's like kind of healthier, which obviously it's not, but to me, it feels like there's some fresh item in there.
No, I mean, if you're having like white bread and like a Kraft Singles cheese and you put an onion and tomato on there, you have upgraded that thing big time.
Yeah.
Health-wise. Yesterday, my neighbor Mike across the street, he introduced me, because I was like, I could go either way. A tomato's a tomato. But he introduced me to like garden fresh, amazing, different color and shape tomatoes.
Heirloom.
I had no idea how good those are. They're amazing. It's like eating like meat. It's like thick and it's sweet and it's savory. It's like everything.
So good. Just a plain tomato sandwich with those heirlooms is amazing.
Oh, I could see that, because it's like it feels like there's substance there. So everyone, I'm just recommending that you find where Mike lives, across the street from me, go to his garden and steal his tomatoes during the night, though. Okay, because he sleeps early and gets up early. So anyway, thank you for answering honestly regarding the question. And maybe I'll try the onion, though I hear that makes people gassy. But speaking of butts, so you are a lawyer. You have lived in Los Angeles and do live in LA. You've lived in New York. You married a smart man as well, who's not in the business. So clearly you're not a dummy. So
I don't know. Maybe I am, because I'm in the business.
That is the question. Then why are you in it? Why are you an actor?
I from a very young age was really into performance. So I was a competitive figure skater growing up. And the jumping aspect of it was really intense and caused me a lot of anxiety.
The literal
Because
jumping on skates.
yeah, just like it was, I was competing at a pretty high level for like a 10-year-old, like,
Oh
going
my
to
God.
nationals or whatever. And
Yeah.
it was, just I had fear. Like some people didn't have fear when they were trying new jumps, but I did. And like when I would get injured, I'd be like, "Wait, why am I doing it again? I got injured last time. I sprained my ankle. What's going on?" So that part was really stressful. But
Yeah.
the performance side was just the most amazing feeling. Just like the artistic kind of lyrical.
Dancing to the music essentially, but on ice.
Exactly. Like I just love that. And I love performing in front of an audience. So I think I got that bug pretty early.
Okay. Was
Yes.
it the response? Because you were saying it's the artistic part, but do you feel it was a response from the audience, that you could feel that response from the audience, or just because you enjoyed the artistic part of dancing to music essentially in front of people?
It was how I felt,
Okay.
doing. Like I even remember being like really, really young, maybe like 3 or something, and just like putting music on and just dancing my heart out. I think just like, at home in the living room. Like that's
Yeah.
just always been like a favorite activity of mine of
Did you have
just
skates
like
on your feet in the living room on the wood
I
floor?
didn't, but I would like slide around, I would do moves. And so yeah, I think I just have always felt this like release and just all of this great dopamine when I express my body. So I guess I could have been a dancer or could have
Yeah.
continued ice skating. It didn't have to be acting, but that idea of performance was really big.
How did you find your way to the ice, though? How does someone go, I'm going to be a figure skater? Like, how did that happen?
I just went to group lessons. My parents, signed me up for some group lessons, and then
Sure.
the coach was like, "Oh, she has a lot of um promise. Like she should start taking private lessons." And I was 5, so I was just
You're
like,
like,
"Okay."
whatever.
Yeah, but then it snowballed real fast into like a 40-hour a week job.
Did you like
Um,
that part of it? Because you are it seems like you're a very hardworking, very practical person. So it seems like that would kind of work with you, but am I wrong?
I mean, yes and no. Like I'm super competitive. So like the idea of like training to go to the Olympics
Yeah.
was just like, yeah, I want to do it. Um, but I think it's a lot for someone of that age to, I left school every day at noon. I would go straight
Oof.
to the rink. I would train, I would skate for 5 hours, and I would go to the gym. I would lift weights. And
Yeah.
then, so I didn't really get to be like a kid, and I had a lot of pressure, had trouble
Sure.
sleeping. It was just but skating was a joy
Yeah.
and hard. So it was a mixed bag. I think that like I really would have benefited from like seeing a sports therapist when I was doing it,
Yeah.
because I struggled a lot with like yeah, struggled a lot with anxiety and pressure.
Oh,
And
I
I
can
think,
imagine.
yeah, yeah.
And I think being very practical about the potential. Well, you did get injured, you said, but I would imagine that's
Hmm.
scary. How do you? There's no cushion when you're jumping on skates and you're hitting ice in your
Well, we
ankles
did
and
wear butt pads actually. It was like
oh
a diaper. It was like, but still, I mean, I got so injured once that like I couldn't sit down. I was just, and the coaches are really, they're pretty intense. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know about now, but certainly back then, and it was like, doesn't matter how you're feeling. You got to keep going. And they're just like, it's like
yeah,
kind of like that gymnastics kind of that gymnastics coach kind of thing
focus,
that we all know about. Yeah, it's just like,
yeah, like a
you
drill
know,
sergeant. Yeah.
yeah, very much. So, yeah, I think
So
it was I don't regret doing it, but knowing what I know as an adult now, I'm like, oh, there are ways that I could have done it that were healthier that probably would have helped me stay in it longer if I wanted to, or figure out if I want to do it or not, and like, just kind of
sure.
like understand it better.
I'm sure a lot of people feel that kind of pressure and burn out on it. So did you essentially burn out on it and were like, I'm out of this, or not to get too
Um,
personal?
I had a lot of injuries. Like first, I really severely sprained my ankle, and then I broke it.
Oh, geez. Okay.
And then it was like between eighth and ninth grade at that time. And,
Mm,
obviously going to high school because school was kind of taking a back seat a little bit. It was a
mhm.
kind of this decision of, oh, am I going to focus on school and my academic career, or am I going to keep skating? And it
Yeah,
was interesting because this is another thing that I kind of regret is like, it was either like I keep skating and go for the Olympics or just quit. I'm like, why not just keep skating for fun or do it like reduced amount
yeah,
and like you don't have to do something only to reach the pinnacle of
sure.
the profession. And that's something that was like not I was not aware of, or that it was never
That there was a middle
encouraged.
ground is either do
There's
it
a
or
middle
don't.
ground.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like you kind of phased out on that, but I want to, before we continue, we have a segment coming up later on in the show, which I may have mentioned to you, called the Kiss and Tell, where people share behind the scenes story of something negative or positive or inspiring. In one word, can you tease what your kiss and tell will be?
Um, let's see. I guess, well, I'm not sure exactly what I'm gonna say in however long, how many minutes, but if it's
Sure.
one that I'm thinking of now, I would say tears.
Tears. Okay. As in like levels, tears, or tears?
Yes, tears.
The wet kind.
Yeah.
Okay. That's sad. Maybe they're happy tears. We'll find out, everyone. Stay tuned. Okay, so you got to the point where you're like, do I compete or do I focus on school? And so at this point, you decide to move away from the skating and
Yeah,
focus on your education.
right. Hmm.
So how do you go from focusing on school? What are you studying at this point?
I mean, it's high school, right? So just
Okay.
like everything. Um,
Were you doing
but
plays and
yeah, it
stuff?
was.
Did you?
Oh, I didn't. I wanted to do theater so badly because,
You
okay, so
never did.
in eighth grade, we had like a play that every eighth
Yeah.
year had to participate in. And
Okay.
I remember loving it, just having so much fun with it. And then so I wanted to continue in ninth grade. See, I just feel like so much of my growing up is like me having bad information and making decisions off of bad information instead of finding out
Sure.
more. So in high school, um, there was a couple things. One is like I was fresh out of being a figure skater and like not understanding what it's like to be a normal kid and wanting to
Yeah.
like fit in. And I think playing sports was like a pretty, popular route for a lot of kids. So I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I'll play like field hockey and lacrosse and, those seemed fun. Team sports, that would be different.
Yeah.
So because I did that, it was at the same time as, doing theater.
Mhm.
And then because I cannot sing, I thought like, oh, well, if you can't sing, because the fall was the play and the spring was the musical. And to
Okay.
me, I was like, if you can't sing, then you can't do either, which like makes no sense. Like I
It
could have
makes no
just done the
sense.
fall play and not done the
You're
musical.
It's too late though. There's no going. Well, you could go back.
So Ian, to answer your questions, I am a dummy because
You're not a dummy.
I did not understand basic things. Um,
Just because you were all wrapped up in the skating and you didn't have the opportunity to not focus on that until
I
it
don't
was,
know. Also,
I don't
I
know.
think theater to me seemed like such a leap. I don't know. For some reason, theater kids always intimidated me. They always seemed like they were their own clique. They were like really knew what they were doing.
Hmm.
And if you weren't part of the clique, then you couldn't come in. And it just felt like they just scared me. So I was
The,
like, oh, I don't think I can do this.
they're all big in their energy and their
Yes,
confidence. Though you must have had a lot of confidence from the skating, even though it came with a lot of self doubt, it
just
sounds like as well.
complete different. I had self-esteem issues. I had a lot of issues growing up.
From
So yeah.
doing this, though, I realized that almost every actor I've spoken to, I'd say all of them have those confidence issues
Yeah.
and self-esteem issues. Certainly me. I used to hate to be in front of people. Still not my favorite thing. But okay, so you don't do the plays because you think you can't sing. You're
Sports,
focusing
right.
on sports. So then you get into college, and when do you do the theater, the acting training versus becoming a lawyer?
Not till after I became a lawyer. So again, in
Okay,
college, I was so intimidated by the theater kids.
sure.
And I wanted to do it. So like I remember seeing they would always have like flyers about auditions and and I would go see plays and I was just so enamored with it. And
Yeah.
I remember once I saw like a flyer for like The Three Sisters, um, which
That
is
play?
a Russian play.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's Chekhov. Anyway, I'm
I'm
not
a
sure.
dummy. See, I'm the dummy.
But I went and I had no idea what I was doing. This is a weird thing. I'm like oddly brave to throw myself in situations where I
Yes.
have no idea what's going on, but it's like so intense because I don't know anything. So I remember being like, am I supposed to do a Russian accent? Like I don't understand how this works and like, and
Yeah.
so I I really just did not understand how anything worked. So again at college I didn't do it because I was scared. I think it really like my acting, like jumping into acting really paralleled my growth and like coming into myself as a person, right? Like having
Okay.
the confidence to be like, this is what I want to do. So in college, again, it was just like, I think I just stick with what I'm good at, which is school. And,
Yeah.
that's like pipe dream. And then after I graduated from college, I still wanted to be an actor. So I asked my uncle wanted to give me a graduation present, and I asked him for like a 1 week acting class or 2 week acting class in New York because I moved to New York right after graduating.
Yeah.
And so he was like, great. So
Why
I
did
went
you move to New York?
I moved to New York to work as a management consultant. So that was my first job out of college.
Okay.
And before that started, I had some time. And so I was going to do this 2 week acting course.
Okay.
Um, and I think I went to like New York Film Academy or something because they had tons of like ads. And I was like, oh, I'll just go there.
Sure.
And I really liked it, but it was like, I don't know. It was not the right acting class for me to be
Okay.
in. Um, but it was interesting because I kept just like flirting with the idea of being an actor, And then so after that, nothing happened. I just did my job, and then I went to law school. And then in law school, I was at NYU, and so
Hmm.
of course there's a great theater school. And I went to Yale for undergrad, which obviously has a great theater school. So every
Again, a
time
dummy.
I'm at these schools that are renowned for acting, and
True.
I'm not learning how to act there. And so at NYU, I saw someone post about like they were doing the vagina monologues and they
Hmm.
wanted people from no matter what school you were in at NYU, you could be in it. So I was like, oh, so I auditioned for that and I did that because I was
Yeah.
still had this thing in the back of my mind where I was like, I want to be an actor. So I did that. And
Wait,
then,
you got cast in it, or you just auditioned
yes,
for it? Oh, so
I
you
got
have done some stuff.
I mean, that was like,
It
it was a
counts.
tiny thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did that, had fun. Then I started working. I think it's like I needed to give myself permission, and nobody was giving me permission on the outside, certainly not my family or friends. Like everyone was like, what is
Sure.
she doing? So weird. And then I needed to like slowly build up the confidence to give myself permission. So finally, when I was working at a law firm and
Hmm.
I was really disliking it, I was just like very much at rock bottom. I think
Yeah.
that's the point where I was like, what am I doing? Like, if I want to act, why don't I just go to acting classes? I can do that. And I think once
Hmm.
I was making my own money, I could send myself to acting class. I didn't need anyone's permission. And New
Yeah.
York is amazing. You can do anything you want there. It was
Mhm.
somehow less intimidating to start acting in New York than it was at any university, you know?
That's interesting. But in regards to being a lawyer, it seems like there's a bit of performance within that. Mm,
I mean, depending on what kind of law you practice, there can
yeah.
be. Um, Not the kind of law that I was doing. It was like corporate transactional work, so, you know.
Okay. So you were just, it sounds like you were just collecting a paycheck at that point and questioning your life.
Oh yeah, really questioning my life. And oh, there was an event that the firm was a sponsor for the 24-hour plays in New York.
Okay.
And so a bunch of us got to go.
Hmm.
And it's like when you write, there's like the writers, directors, and actors put the put the little place together all in 24 hours. And
Okay.
so they had like a bunch of celebrities in it. And when I was watching it, I just had this like feeling inside my body that I just wanted to jump on the stage, like I needed to like get myself on the stage.
If
And
this
that
is
was a moment.
really, that's really something because it was always there.
Hmm.
And the fact that you were fighting against it so much because you were trying to either the self-doubt, being practical versus and no one telling
Hmm.
you, go for it.
Right.
But yet
Yeah.
you could not resist it.
I couldn't resist it. And it's once I started going to classes, like I said earlier, I had no idea anything about acting. It's not like I read books or I had this thought or theory about how one should be a good actor. Like I
Yeah,
literally had zero thoughts about that. I just knew I wanted to do it. And when I was in acting school, I was starting from, I think so much of my acting training was stripping away like
sure.
all the learned controlled behavior that I needed to be a lawyer and all that stuff.
Hmm.
And it's like I don't ever remember any of my teachers in the 2 years that I did the acting program
Yeah,
ever being like, "You're good. Like you should," ever being terribly encouraging. Like
yeah.
I always felt like it was, they weren't like you're horrible, but I never felt like that feeling of like you could be good at this.
Someone sort of
So
taking you under their wing and being like, come on, let's fly
never,
together.
never.
Yeah,
So it really felt like me being an actor was like my own just brute desire against everybody. Just being like, I'm gonna do this.
good for you though. That because I can tell everyone she did do it and is doing it. So how do you go from that point where you're like, I need to jump on that stage? Obviously, you did not jump on that stage that
Right.
day because that would have been awkward and you could have been arrested, but you could have defended yourself, which is good.
Right.
How do you go? Because from looking at, you've done some indies and stuff. How do you end up in what I think is maybe your first legit credit, The Upside? Is that the first one?
The first one would be Listen Up, Philip, is the one I
Oh,
would
okay.
say. Yeah, so that starred Elizabeth Moss.
Okay.
And that was like my first indie feature booking. Basically I, did the 2-year program
Hmm.
and then I started trying to look for reps, kind of the way everyone else was, going to different workshops.
Asking
Um,
friends.
yeah, just like all of the ways. And I ended up finding my first manager through a workshop where you go and you kind of perform a scene, and then a couple of
Hmm.
managers asked to chat with me, and then one of them was like, "Yeah, it'd be great to work with you." So I started working with them, and
Hmm.
then I just started getting sent out on auditions. And yeah, I mean, I just think it's just funny how like I just continued to be like, I don't know what I'm doing, but like just show
I do
up
that
at the
all the
end of the show,
time.
right? Yeah. So yeah, I just started going to auditions, and I remember that audition. I felt really good about it. I felt like I was so scared at a lot of the other
Yeah.
auditions, but this casting director, Susan Shotmaker, she was like super warm, and I had a
Hmm.
lot of fun playing in that
Yeah.
audition. And then booked
Uh,
that job.
and what was the role?
I played I think the character's name was like girlfriend on stoop. So it was like Elizabeth Moss's character was having a stoop sale. And then
Okay.
me and my boyfriend, I don't know if his title was boyfriend on stoop, we come by and we like buy something from her, you know. And I
And
asked her like how
those
much this is.
those kinds of roles, because I was talking with my guest yesterday, they're so hard to audition for when, especially though it sounds like that was a good auditioning experience, but it can be so hard to shine when your audition is, say, one line or a couple of lines or a paragraph or something. And to feel comfortable that you did it because you don't get that many takes. How
Right.
had you felt that way in auditions before then, that this was not a natural, because auditioning's so weird. Did it feel like a natural thing for you to do auditioning, or was that always sort of a struggle?
No, I've always struggled with it. I mean, this one, I think I auditioned for like a slightly meatier role. So there
Okay.
was like more to say, and then they cast me in this entire a different
Okay.
role. Um,
So
but
they
yeah,
liked you. They wanted to put you somewhere.
I guess, yeah, yeah. I think that like what was so hard for me was like I never knew what Christine would show up at the audition. Would I be like a nervous wreck? Like I remember ones where I had a callback for some theater, for some play I really wanted to do, and I was
Yeah,
shaking. Like I couldn't stop my body from shaking, you know?
I understand.
Um, yeah, it took just time and experience, I think, to just like be able to show up and know what I was gonna how to like compose myself, you know?
I've had that too, though, just not knowing which Ian is it going to be today. The
Yeah,
one that is like totally knows what he's doing, or the one like I had no control over that. Do you
right.
prefer? I mean, I know you said you got more comfortable auditioning, but do you prefer self taping versus being in the room?
I think for the performance, I like the self-tape because
Mhm.
you can really see what's working, what's not working, you know, and
Sure.
you're not always sure how your performance is going to read, right? So I think
Yeah.
you really benefit from watching the tape and learning from
Agreed.
it. And you can fine tune it, do it again. Like I just think the quality of their performance is probably gone up for most people.
Sure.
But I do think that the like rush of going in the room, getting feedback, getting an adjustment, feeling like you're actually working with someone, like that is also really great. So it's, yeah,
I take self taping every day, just taking the logistics out of getting to the
yeah,
room or getting through traffic or commuting, whatever, or speaking to the crazy person in the waiting room with you.
yeah,
All of that out of the equation is so
yeah.
nice for me.
I think that in person can be a lot better or a lot worse than
Yes,
a self tape, you know?
true, because you get that
Yes.
immediate feedback, essentially the audience. But yeah, it really depends on the rapport that you have with casting and the kind of role that you're auditioning for.
Yeah, and there's some magic that can happen unexpectedly in the room.
True.
But just as
Yeah.
often, you can bomb it, totally
Yes.
bomb it, and kick yourself after for like a week. You know?
Exactly. You undermine yourself, or I've undermined
Yeah.
myself with, oh my God, that was such an easy one. I had rehearsed it so well and I got in there and undermined and like blew it for myself, or we think we did. And those are the ones we book. But what did getting that
Mhm.
role mean for you? The girl on the stoop or the girlfriend on the stoop? Were you like, oh, this is the beginning, or what's this going to lead to? Did that credit mean something to you beyond the day?
Um, I think I think I knew it was just like a one-liner. So,
Yeah.
yes, it was meaningful, and I remember going with my best friend to watch a screening when it came out
Yeah.
and was like very happy about it. But I learned so much just being on set that day, but I think, um, yeah, I, I was pretty tempered in my excitement about it just because it felt like, oh, okay, this is like one line. And I remember when I showed up, they were even like, oh, yeah, you don't need to see hair and makeup. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm
Okay.
not really on screen, you know?
You were
Um,
camera ready, like today.
um, yeah. So yeah, no, that one maybe not. Yeah.
And where, but what happened next? So you've done this, you went to the screening, you like, yeah, okay, it was one line, but cool, I got something.
Yeah.
Where
Then
did you go from there?
I started doing more just like student films or little
Hmm.
things to just to get more experience. And I was still going on auditions. I think that's it's kind of a cool thing about acting is like even from the get-go, you can get some big auditions
Yeah.
when you don't have a lot of experience, which is like, whoa, you're like, oh, this is cool. So yeah, I was still working as a lawyer at the time. So I was, running around trying to do both things. Um,
You're still doing it now, no? Are you still doing
I
it?
do, but I was working at a law firm at
Okay.
that time. Yeah. And then I finally decided to give acting a try, like more of my attention. And
Okay.
so
After
left the
that role,
firm. It was after that role, probably like
sometime after. Okay.
a year and a half later. Yeah, and then I started my own legal practice to do on the side.
Okay.
Um, so I still do that part time. And yeah, just, started having more time to like go to more classes and um yeah, I just had more mental freedom, I think, to
Sure.
focus on acting. Hmm.
So what is the next? So you start, because I see that you end up getting things like Madam Secretary and The Upside,
Yeah.
the other two. When did these start kind of rolling in, and when you were like, oh, I'm kind of getting some traction here, which is that thing we always think exists, but it doesn't really traction. But
I know. Yeah, it was interesting. Like I think I booked those things and I remember there was one moment when I had a call back for 13 Reasons Why to play the
okay.
lead. And that was a moment where I was like, wow, maybe I can like get a big role, you
Yeah.
know? I couldn't go to that callback actually because I was on vacation at the time with my parents in Europe, and I would have had to like fly back, a
Was
week and a
that
half
hard for you, or are you
early.
like, this is life, I'm over here, whatever? Or did that
I
hurt?
It hurt, but also I think because I was so new to the
Hmm.
industry, I was like, oh, I'm sure there'll be others.
Yeah.
Like I just didn't realize how big of a deal perhaps it was. I don't know. I knew it was, but like I don't know, it just didn't seem like we asked Cassie, we're like, oh, should she come back? This was before tapes were really big,
Sure.
so you had to be there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I worried a bit that like I missed my chance a little. But that was like just helping me be like, okay, like, there's and then I had like a callback for a pilot for the series regular role. There was like it wasn't like happening as fast as I wanted it to, but there
Sure.
were little signs.
They started rolling in. So we know each other because of our friend Michael Toe
Hmm.
introduced us. We're part of this little actor group where we help each other with self tapes and just kind of motivate each other to stay sane in this crazy business. So when do you do this? How did this come about?
I had done an indie film called The Cocks of the Walk about badminton. And
Okay.
even though I didn't work with Mike, the director and writer Chris
Hmm.
Cacciapoli, he and Mike started collaborating on a
Okay.
bunch of stuff. So we did like a couple 24-hour shootouts where it's like you write or write and produce a short film within 24 hours, or was it 48? No,
Oh,
48 hours, 72 hours,
okay.
72 hour shootout.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did a couple of those with Mike and Celeste and Chris and like Liz. Um, and then, yeah, did East of Hollywood as well. Yeah, so we ended up, I think I worked on like three or four things with them.
Okay. So that makes sense. The connection. Oh, our friend Taya says hi. So
Hello.
hi from Taya. Um, okay, so I want to come up to this. Actually, I'm going to play some clips. I'm going to
Okay.
play a clip from this Law and Order SVU. This is a little let's see if I get a copyright hit for this. I probably will.
Okay.
But this is what I put together. Hold on.
But after I testify, Mama's son in jail. Everything good. I start new life.
Never been here before?
Never been anywhere. Just spa to spa. But after today, I free as a bird.
Lily, I'm Captain Benson.
The big boss.
Thank you, Lily, so much.
Yeah, can I use bathroom?
Show you where it is.
That was like a really big arc in like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Like you're like so happy and then you're dead because you got a text. Spoiler alert, everyone. What, like, I want to ask you, what was this role to you? Because this is a huge show, SVU. You're going to get residuals until the end of time for this. You are playing an accented character. You are an American girl. What is that? Was that difficult for you to do the accent? Or how do you feel about playing accented characters? And what was this experience for you? How did you get it?
So interestingly, the New York Times, SVU is always ripped from the headlines, right?
Sure.
And the New York Times had done this big feature on this woman who was a massage parlor worker who died when she fell from a building. And it was a little different. The story is a bit different. Like she was being chased by the police, but it was basically this time when, the police were going after the massage parlor workers as opposed to, the clients or the pimps or whatever, right? They were going after, which, I disagree with, obviously. But I remember just being so absorbed by the story. I think they mentioned like her ponytail, or I don't know. It was so heartbreaking. And it was about this character who then when I saw the SVU audition come in, I was like, that's her. Like Lily
so you knew the story already.
I knew the story. And it had really, really resonated with me when I read about it like the year or two prior to that audition.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my God, I really want to be in this. And I think that for that audition, they initially had me read for a different role. They had me read for her friend. I don't know if they had everyone do that first, like read for that role first, or what. But after I read for that role, then they were like, okay, come back in for the Lily role. And then when I came back in for that, I remember, I think that was considered the callback. I remember being like, oh, I blew it. And I was really upset.
We do that.
And the accent thing, like, yeah, sometimes I don't like doing it if I think it's being made fun of or it's like the butt of a joke but in this case, it's like this person truly has an accent. So,
Real
I'm portraying the
story.
character. Yeah. So I feel comfortable doing it. And so, yeah, I thought I blew the audition. And then they were like, come back in for another callback. And I was like, with just the director and the casting director. And so it was me it seemed like maybe there were just two of us. I don't know. There was another girl there who, when I was there, I don't know how many other people they had, but I just remember being like, oh, yay. Like I didn't blow it. I get to try again. And that I think was my best audition I've ever had in my life. Like somehow I was so locked in. I don't know if it was just like the connection with this character or what, but it was like, it was one of those in-person auditions where I was like, wow, sending in a tape would not have been as good, And I think they had me in there for like 30 minutes. Like the director had me just doing different scenes, doing it different ways, just over and over. They were really doing their like due diligence before I really wanted to do this role. Yeah. So
and you're so good. You're so good. She's so innocent, and it's just it's amazing because this is pretty much the beginning of the episode, isn't it?
No, that's the end.
It is. Okay.
So there's like a bunch of scenes beforehand where you kind of see what she's up to, blah, 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 like all this stuff. And then that's the end when she decides she's going to testify. It was,
I should have known
I just had so much fun. I had so much fun. It was like mostly Asian cast, the guest cast.
Yeah.
With like Margaret Cho and which was so cool to like meet her and work with her.
Yeah.
And I just, it was such a great experience.
And so was this a guest star role?
Yeah.
Because, wow. So that must have been huge. That must have been pretty big for you at the time.
It was. Yeah. I mean, this was filming same time as season 2, New Amsterdam. So I was like top of show guest on that
Okay.
as well. And this, so
I haven't done my
it
due
was nice.
diligence at all.
It's
I
okay,
totally
Ian.
dropped the ball here.
You didn't look through my accounting, my finances to see how much I was paid for all of these things.
How much did you get? Tell us.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
so that was cool. It was cool to do the top of show guest. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. And I should go back and watch the whole episode. Okay, so since you brought up New Amsterdam, I want to talk about how that came about because I know that was you were, I don't know if you know this, you were in 28 episodes of New Amsterdam.
Yeah.
That's insane. So
Yeah.
how did that come about? And yeah, I'll let you tell it.
So that one, okay, again, the recurring theme is like Christine doesn't know what's going on, right? So like
Which isn't such a bad thing. That's okay.
yeah, I mean, I just feel like there's so much more information available now on social media about acting and what you're supposed to do and not do. And like,
Sure.
when I feel like when I first started, there just wasn't any of that information. Like, there weren't websites, there wasn't Instagram. Like, you
Yeah.
couldn't find anything out. So you just kind of trial and error, you know?
Hmm.
Um, so I remember I saw it was like a pilot casting, and I was
Okay.
like, I didn't quite understand how pilots worked with the pickup and the blah blah blah, but I was just like, okay, whatever, just like another audition.
It's when they
Um,
existed
yeah,
in the
and
old days.
I um was I'm like very it's really hard for me to be on time in general to things. So acting, like showing up for an audition on time was
Yeah.
like required real like concerted effort. And I would say that I was on time for like 90%,
Yeah.
95% of them, but it really was hard. For that audition, I was running from the subway. Um
That's the worst.
and yeah, so I think it was in the winter, so luckily I wasn't too hot, but I was running, running, running. I
Hmm.
get in and as soon as I arrived, signed in, they're like, okay, come on in. So I was literally still kind of out of breath from the running.
Yeah.
Um, but I think it maybe helps because I wasn't nervous because I was just like, you
I
know,
gotta go. And yeah, there's not that waiting, that anticipation. But before you ran off, when you first got this audition on
mhm.
paper in the breakdown, what did it look like?
It said that it was a co-star, but
Hmm.
it had quite a long description about her, you know.
Okay.
Um, and she's like a neurology fellow and smart, blah blah blah. I don't know. I don't remember specifically,
Okay.
but yeah, I was
But
just
it's a
like, okay,
co-star.
cool. It was a co-star, but it was a lot of like I think even the audition had 3 scenes or something. It was like
Wow.
maybe two. I don't know, but whatever. It
Sure.
felt meaty. It wasn't
Okay.
a one line, you know.
Hmm.
But I still like I didn't have the full script. Did I have the full script? Maybe I had the full script. I'm not sure.
Okay.
And yeah, but I kind of just show up. I'm out of breath, which actually works with the first scene because the first scene was like an emergency where I'm like code red, blah blah blah, and like I think it helped to be like kind of like,
Loose
you
and
know,
out of, yeah,
yeah, out of breath.
and harried and like, ah.
Right. So I had that audition, and then I remember I had an audition to play a different role,
Hmm.
like the next day in the same, like I had, like before I even went in for the first one, I had one set up for the
Oh,
other
that's
role.
cool. Okay.
Yeah, and so when I remember being at some cafe in Manhattan and getting an email saying, "You don't need to show up for the second audition because they are sending you in for approval for the first role."
And you're like,
Um,
yes.
yeah, I was just like, "Oh, cool." And I just was like, I don't really know, like to me I was like, "Oh, a pilot." I thought it's like because it doesn't have a series order, it's
Yes.
just so you just really don't know what's going to
You don't
happen to
know.
it.
Hmm.
And so I was just like, "Okay, cool. Like who knows like this is going to go anywhere, but great." And then
Yeah.
I think we shot it like pretty soon after I got it, maybe a week later. And
Hmm.
then I was like, oh, this character has a lot of scenes in this pilot, you know? And uh I was just, first time on set for a pilot, which is obviously different than a long running show. And I
Mhm.
was just like soaking it all in, just kind of like, being like, wow,
How many days about did you have on that pilot? Not knowing that this job would continue, but you
I
were
think
there
like
for a few
5 days.
That's amazing. Just that
Yeah,
alone, you're like, okay, this is this is what it could be like.
right. And even though it was a co-star, they had me in like a half trailer or something.
And the
So
fact
I
that's a
was,
co-star is them cutting corners.
yeah, I
For
know.
sure, financial corners.
Yeah, and I was confused. I realized later. I mean, I don't know if like if they had hired anyone, would they have been a co-star? If they had hired someone with more credits, maybe they could have negotiated to be at a guest star. I have no idea, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, I just got lucky and it ended up being meaty. And what was like really cool, I had considered talking about this for my kiss and tell, but I'll just tell you now.
Yeah.
Is like when I was there was one scene in particular where we were having a little bit of challenge blocking it.
Mhm.
And so we ran it a couple of times. It wasn't quite working because it was involving like multiple people, like coming in different directions. And I don't know, I just like made a suggestion. I was like, oh, how about like this, da 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 da, da, to the director. And she's like, oh, okay. And then she was like, yeah. And I think it had to do with the way I was reading the line. Instead of a period, I made it a question.
Yeah.
And that somehow shifted the timing and blocking. Um,
Interesting. Okay.
yeah, and at the time I was just like, okay, great. Like I was just trying to be like helpful, because it seemed like
Yeah.
everyone was struggling. And I was like, what if I do this? And then like maybe that helps with that person being like stopping to like be like, what is she talking about? And then like that helps everybody else, blah blah. So that ended up working. And then um so I do all my days. On the last day when I wrapped,
Mhm.
one of the showrunners was like, "Oh, we'll see you back when we start shooting the series." And I was like, "What? Like I thought we had to get picked up first." And he's like, "Yeah, yeah." But he was confident that we were going to get picked up
Mhm.
and that I would be back. And I had no idea that this could possibly be recurring at all. So I was like, "Oh." And then I was like, because literally again, I didn't know that like this is just how it is, where they
Yeah.
just decide to
Which
bring
is
people back.
maybe better you didn't know, because then it would have so much more weight to it and probably be intimidating, and maybe it could have been stifling. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. And then so I was like, he seemed so confident, but I was like, I heard it's so hard to get picked up. And
Mhm.
then, but we were the first pilot that got picked up. And um and then when I came back, the pilot director directed like I don't know. I think I wasn't in the second or third episode. I came back maybe in the fourth episode. And
Okay.
she was like, "Oh, you haven't been in the past couple episodes?" And I was like, "No, am
No.
I supposed to be?" Like, I don't know. Again, I was just like, "I don't know how this works. What's going on? I don't get it." But I was just along for the ride. And they like when they brought me back, I was like, "Great, I'll do it. Happy." And then at the wrap party for season 1,
Mhm.
um the two casting directors came to talk to me and they were like, that moment in the pilot when you helped figure out that blocking, that one line, that's when everyone decided you would come back.
No
And I
way.
was
Good for
like,
you.
yeah, I was like, also like what everybody they weren't there on set. I was like, did somebody tell them? Like I don't how did they know this? I didn't understand.
That's so nice that they told you that, because we often don't know why certain things happen. So, but good for you. You made that happen.
I guess so. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I didn't have any like intention of making anything happen, or I was just there trying to do a good job and like it worked out.
Well, I think that's you. When I said earlier in the show that you are the least actory actor I know, I think you're very practical. You're a bit self-deprecating and very humble. And I think you don't think in those terms of like, I don't know, trying to take advantage of a situation. You're just trying to figure things out. And I think that goes to show why you got this opportunity.
Thanks, Ian. I don't know.
No, really. So that turned into 28 episodes. I'm going to go to a little montage of clips. I don't have anything from that first episode, but take a gander at this. I'm sure I will be hit by NBC copyrights, but let's see.
This could progress to terminal. But there's hope.
Is everything okay?
It's fine. I'm just gonna take Nia up now.
Is there any way that she could maybe unjoin us?
Oh, that's just a formality. Don't worry about it. The board officially approves her tomorrow. It's gonna be gravy, okay? You nailed it.
I'm thinking maybe I didn't. Nailing.
If we uncouple our budgets but downsize support staff, that means we get the savings on staff, but on calls we still foot the bill on equipment. Can you fire her? You're deputy medical director.
Not anymore.
I never should have hired her. You're fired. I'm firing you.
Well, I'm sorry, Agnes, but I don't think you have the authority.
Well, that's the thing. I didn't have the authority to hire you either, or even recommend you to the board, which means that I am still the interim chair of neurology. And as the interim chair of neurology, I am terminating your interim employment.
I'm saying yes right now.
Really?
Oh, yes.
It's pretty expensive.
Day of yes, Agnes. Day of yes.
Instead of ignoring me when I wanted answers, he was actually preparing me.
You're great in this. You
Aw,
are so
thank
good in
you.
this. 28 episodes. But one thing about this that my understanding is, okay, so the co-star was turned into a recurring guest star for all of these episodes. Is that correct?
Second season, not the first season.
Wow, they totally cut some corners. Taking it because
Yeah,
we
this is
know.
This was like sort of the beginning, I feel like, of when this is like becoming very standard for like guest stars to kind of get bumped down. It was like when it was first starting to happen, you know?
Okay. They're like, we'll save money here.
Yeah, and I think like, it was a little hard for me because even season 1, I was like, I'm in a lot of episodes, like why am I not a guest star,
Well, at the very least, because again, I know I've said this about 46 times, 28 episodes, you should have been considered a series regular. Is that something you look at in
No.
retrospect? What do you think?
I get it. Like, series regular, you're in every episode, right? So it's a whole nother level. I mean, there could be a universe where I could have gotten promoted, right? They might have said like, so first I was co-star, then second season promoted to recurring guest.
Mm-hmm.
Third season where, most of the clips that you showed were in the third season where I had like a
Okay.
big arc.
Yeah.
After that or during that, they could have, like some shows might have said, okay, we want to promote you to series regular because we want to make sure that you're exclusive and you're available, to do all of these episodes. But, this show had, I think, a pretty limited budget. So they only ever made like one additional series regular in 5 seasons. So it was not going to be me. And yeah, I mean, that would have been
Yeah.
nice, but that's just like, that's just not how this show worked. And
Yeah.
but yeah, other shows, they have like a couple, 2, 3 new series regulars every season,
Yeah.
that's not how this one was.
I
There were
wonder
a
if
lot of recurring guest stars.
I wonder if it has something to do with streaming, because that was kind of coming about during this time, getting stronger during this time. Because it's NBC. They got money and the guys from the Blacklist. I don't know. What do I know? But how cool that
Yeah.
you got to do it. How did this, because I know it ended it had 5 seasons.
Hmm.
In the 5th season, you were not in it a whole bunch. How did this kind
Mhm.
of end for you? If you don't mind talking about that.
Yeah, I mean, I learned so much from this show.
Mhm.
Like as an actor, I kind of developed along with my character. Like my character starts off very green, and then she's kind of thrust into like a more senior role, and then she's like trying to figure it out. And it was kind of mirroring how I was feeling as an actor, being like, oh, I haven't had like this kind of level of responsibility before,
Yeah.
And so I think I'm just so grateful that I got to do it on a show that I had been working on. So I knew the whole crew, I knew the directors, I knew the
Hmm.
writers. Like I just had a lot of support to grow.
Yeah.
And that was just so incredible. I think it was a little tough for me the fourth and fifth seasons because the fourth season I was in it less, and then the fifth season I was only in the series finale.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that was the other thing I learned about from the show is that like it's not personal, you know, like when you're in, when you're not, because a lot of my friends were also recurring in it, and none of
Hmm.
us really could predict like when we would be in it and when we wouldn't. You know, it was sort of
Sure.
just like they reach out to you and let you know. And I saw other people kind of struggle with like, oh, I haven't been in it this season. Like, did I do something wrong? Like,
We all do
you
that.
know,
Yeah.
yeah. And so it almost feels like, you know, it's like a breakup or something where you're like, what did I do? You know, so I remember
Sure.
feeling a little down about being in it less and wondering like, oh, did I really suck? Like what's going on? But it's just, you know, I think uh now that I've done a lot more writing just on my own, I see how it's just like the storylines and the way things
Sure.
go. It's like as much as you like certain characters, like, you know, there's different trajectories for each season. So
Absolutely.
it brought me back for the series finale, which
Hmm.
I was so happy about. And
Yeah.
just, you know, being there and I don't know, being there from the pilot to the series finale was very meaningful.
It's so cool. I couldn't imagine. I've not had an opportunity like that where I get to return to a set that many times and have that kind of team. Because we always talk about doing these one day things where you
Hmm.
arrive and it's like arriving to someone's Thanksgiving dinner and you have to act like you're comfortable for that one day. But you got to come back and just be at home. That must have been,
Hmm.
I just can imagine that was magical.
It was
But thank,
so nice to just come back and always feel like welcomed. You know, it was like the
yeah,
same crew, the same people the whole time. So, yeah.
thank you for sharing about that.
Hmm.
Now, do you have any advice for up and coming actors? Anything you wish you had known? Which sounds like there's a few things,
Yeah.
but just one.
Apparently, I didn't know anything. Um, I think, I mean, I guess the benefit of me not knowing a lot of stuff was that I didn't have expectations, you know, and I didn't expect any particular
Mhm.
results. And so I guess I was lucky in that way. And then I think that's why it was tough in the later seasons where I had this expectation of like, oh, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be, you know,
Sure.
and so it's like a bit of a letdown when you're not. But I think just really remembering that this is this like just try to not take things personally as much as you can.
Mhm.
Because I don't know, it's I felt it in myself and I've seen it in others when you just really, really get down on yourself and it has
Yeah.
likely nothing to do with you. And it's the
Mhm.
like sooner you can accept that, and just like try to protect yourself, the better. I think it's, yeah, it can be pretty hard to feel that way. So yeah, just trying to let go of expectations and taking every chance to act is just like, great, this is a gift, but it like the
Yes.
impermanence of acting, you know, I think like it's such a good lesson for life. The more that you can accept impermanence and
Mm.
uncertainty and not knowing what's going to happen tomorrow acting wise or just in your life, like the freer and better emotionally you'll feel.
You're so grounded and practical about these things. No, it's so good. It's so these are great lessons. Do you I don't know if you have another kiss and tell. You did share sort of a kiss and tell, but it's totally up to you. Anything else you want to share in that regard?
So the tears thing I mentioned was Madam Secretary for me was a huge booking because it was after I quit working at a law firm and I
Okay.
was feeling like, oh, what am I doing? Am I doing the right thing? Nobody's supporting. Like I just didn't feel like I don't know, I just really had a question of whether I could do it. And I
Yeah.
remember when I got that call from my manager, I just started bawling. I was just like, this is like, you asked about Listen Up, Philip. That wasn't the moment. It was like, for some reason, it was Madam Secretary. I think it was
Okay.
just because it was a little bit meatier and it was further down the line. I had already quit my job and I was just
Mhm.
really needing some sign that
That you're
like
doing the
I
right
could
thing.
do this. I'm doing the right thing. And I just was yeah, I was just overcome with appreciation and
Oh.
joy. Yeah.
How long when did this come in before New Amsterdam? How at what point was that?
That was like about maybe 3 years
Okay.
before New
Oh,
Amsterdam. So after Madam Secretary, I did like I think the Upside Mozart in the Jungle, all those like kind of other thing. There were other things, but
yeah.
the next kind of big thing, I guess, was New Amsterdam.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
Oh, and Mark Stack's office too. That's one of the tougher ones to get into. And you did it and you booked.
I booked. It was yeah, it's funny like the way that things were back in the day when we went in person, you would see like 30, 40 people there and be like, "Whoa,
Mhm.
like wow, I'm really competing with like all these people." And now you just there's even more competition, but we don't see it. It's so interesting.
How are you surviving right now given the state of the business? Things are slower. I know some opportunities are still rolling in, but it's compared to how it
It's really
was.
dead. It's so
Yeah,
dead. It's the most dead I've been, through my
sure.
whole career, the past couple
Me too.
years. Yeah, I mean, this whole career is going through ups and downs, right? There's
Mhm.
times when I'm feeling like
Always.
good and whatever, and there's times when I'm feeling just so like dejected and like
Mhm.
sad,
Yeah.
because I haven't had anything to work on, or there's no spark of hope or whatever.
Nothing feeding that artistic thing
I
in you.
know. So
Yeah.
I started writing, and that's helped a lot because it's like it feels like I'm getting my creative juices flowing. I'm getting to write things that I care about. So even if it doesn't ever go anywhere, it just feels good.
Screenwriting?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you
So
hire me?
yeah, I mean,
Thank
I
you.
gotta get hired first.
Okay,
But
that's
yeah, I
fair.
think finding something else that feeds you artistically, or like joining a class, or just taping scenes for fun, or whatever it is, like find something that keeps the joy alive.
Mhm.
Um, and then otherwise, I don't know. It's like the times I've booked things like are oftentimes I'm at my lowest, like A12. I
Oh, yeah.
booked that right after my agent dropped me. And I was feeling so bad, you know?
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, and then I booked that, and it was like my dream. It was such a dream to work with Amy Sherman Palladino and Dan Palladino. Um,
Mrs. Maisel people, right?
Yes. And oh, I guess
Yes.
this is another kiss and tell. I had actually sat next to them at a restaurant, a tiny restaurant, like that could seat 10 people in
Okay.
Brooklyn, like many years prior. And I was sitting next to them. I was like inches away from them because this place was so small.
Sure.
And I was like, oh my God, I'm such a fan. I wanted to like talk to them, but I was like so nervous. And I'm really bad. Like, I think I'm not the best, like you said, at necessarily being like seizing an opportunity, like, this is how to network or whatever, you know? And I just
And
remember
you're
being like,
not
oh,
actory. Like, that's such an actory thing to do, to be like, "Oh, hi," you know? I
I know
I
I was struggling. I was like beating myself up after because I didn't say anything. And
yeah.
afterwards, I was like, oh, I probably should have said something. But then I was like, what am I going to say? Like, I think you're saying like the practical aspect of me. I'm like, okay, if
You
I
talked
say
yourself out
something,
of it.
what does that exactly lead to? Right? It's not
Mhm.
like you're going to be like, I love you. Please hire me. That's weird. It's just like saying, oh, you're great. And then it's like the rest of dinner, I'm going to be inches away from them. Like,
True.
this, how awkward, like,
All of this goes through your head.
all of this goes through my head. I didn't end up saying anything. And I was like, blew it. I should have said something. But then when I booked this later, I was just like, oh, I'm so happy because like I didn't have to beat myself up. I still got to work with them, just going through regular channels, auditioning, you know, like,
Yeah.
yeah, like I think there's a lot of pressure on so many actors. Like, you got to be doing your social media, you got to be doing these workshops, you got to be networking, you got to be like
Ooh.
pushing, pushing, pushing.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, you have to do a little, or you got to take opportunities when they present themselves.
Sure.
But I feel like let's try to stop beating ourselves up a bit. Let's
Exactly.
try
Yeah.
to just like go with your gut, see what feels comfortable to you,
Be
and
true to
know that like,
yourself.
yeah, like maybe some
Mhm.
other people feel comfortable doing that. I don't
I
feel
don't at
terribly
all.
comfortable, you know? And
Yeah.
that's okay. I think that's
Mhm.
okay. Like, oh, did we miss an opportunity? I don't know, maybe, but like we were true to ourselves.
On your deathbed, what's going to matter? You know, it's like, did I live a good life? Was I true to myself? Did I love and was I loved? That's all that matters.
Right. Yeah, hopefully you're not regretting not having like interrupted someone's meal.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just bringing us back to that. I'm going to play a 23-second tiny clip from your 3-episode arc from Étoile.
I know it was wrong, and I'm so...
Don't do it.
It won't happen again.
It won't because she will be in the school.
What school?
Or at home in bed.
What school?
She has talent. She needs training, so she'll go to the school.
Hold on.
Can I, Mama, please?
No.
No, it doesn't work like that. Am I yelling? You have to audition.
No, she doesn't.
Bailey, Tom, and Maisel. I'm sorry about this. I'm taking her home.
Good.
That's so cool. And I'm glad it came right at that time when you needed it. And I remember that being a big win. You're like, good. Obviously it was nice to be with that representation, but you didn't need them. This is about you and your talent. Yeah.
I know that like everyone goes through these things where, you know, you get drops. Like I think everybody's gone through it.
Sure.
And I just hadn't yet. So,
Yeah.
and
Well,
I think it was hard because it was right after the strike was over. So I was sort of like, well, what was I supposed to do? Like, what work was I supposed to be getting during the
Yeah.
strike? You know, I think it just felt like particularly unfair, you know? But that's just how it is. And like, what? You don't want to work with people who don't want to work with you. So
Exactly. And I think
fine, right?
everyone's been flailing in this business during the strike and since the strike. And I think there's been some erratic behavior on all sides. So good for you. You got this. What is your dream opportunity before I let you go? What would you love to do that you have not done?
I would love to do some like sci-fi fantasy or like period piece. I
Okay.
think that's like when I'm watching as a viewer, I love just getting immersed in a world that's like completely different than our own.
You've
And
auditioned for that kind of stuff.
I have, yeah, and I would just love, love, love to do it. I think just like creating, like just seeing what they can create, that's like the magic to me.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, of course I like all kinds of shows, but like I think I would just be super jazzed to do that. And then I would also love to be in a sitcom, like a comedy. I think it's so challenging and like
Yeah.
just energy required, how fast you got to go. But I'm like super excited about doing something like that. I just think that that would be such a great workout, you know?
You will. Christine gets the most amazing opportunities, and you audition at a very high level and you do great in the auditions, but it just means that level of you're competitive, but that level of competition is so much stronger. But the opportunities do roll in and you knock them out of the park and you're going to land these things. I've no doubt.
Thanks, Ian.
So stand by.
Thanks for the faith.
No, I have it. I'm taking you under my wing. Thank you for your time.
It.
You're
Yes,
great.
of
You're awesome.
course.
Thank you so
I
much.
appreciate it.
Everyone,
Oh,
check out
one
Christine.
more
Oh,
piece
yeah.
of advice. One more piece of
Yes.
advice. Fine. Like I said, I didn't have the teachers who supported me. I eventually did. I found like a couple really amazing teachers who I just really jived with. So I think like there's this misconception of like, oh, you got to study with this person, you know, they have these reputation, and then like, but even if you don't get along with them or something doesn't feel right, you feel like, oh, but I got to do it. I think it's just like there are so many people you can learn from. So like, feel free to take a bunch. See who is the right teacher for you. It's not always going to be the right teacher for somebody else. But like what's so important in acting is like finding a space where you really feel comfortable and safe to like explore and push your boundaries. And when you find that teacher or class where you are able to do that, like you grow so much. And I'm just so grateful that I did find those places eventually. Because I know, like for me, like so much of my life has been like imposter syndrome, especially coming to acting as a second
Me too.
career. Just
Yeah.
like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't belong here. Everybody knows what else, everyone else knows what they're doing, you know? So just like gaining that feeling of like, I'm an actor. I deserve to be here. I know what I'm doing. I mean, it's still like every day's a struggle. Like some days I wake up and I'm like, I think I can do this. And I feel like the work is good. And then other days I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, this is so bad. Like what? I'm terrible, you know? So like, I think it's just always going to be that way,
Of
but
course. And I think
finding
that's
those
good.
homes.
I think in a sense that's good. You're not self-aware, but you're just kind of knowing what you're capable of and what you're not, and trusting that you're doing the right thing when you are, and there's people out there that are right for you and some are not. But
Yeah, being true to yourself, knowing your people, like our group, you know,
yeah,
you guys have helped me so much. I know when I first joined,
you too.
I was like, oh gosh, I don't know what's going on in my tapes. Like I'm just sending them out to the ether. And it's just so helpful to get somebody else's eye on it and be like, yeah, no, you're good, you know, or like, no, you gotta work on this, you know, it's just, I think just putting yourself out there. I remember when I first joined the group, I was a little scared to like put my
Really?
work out to you all to see, because I was like, what if they're like, you're bad and you're never gonna be good at this? You
I
know?
was intimidated having seen your work on New Amsterdam. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's done 28 episodes and here she is joining us. But I'm glad you did. Thank you.
I'm always the person who's learning and just trying to figure it out.
We all are. That's life. But anything
Yes.
you want to share, anything coming up, or just keep an eye out for what's next and leave it there? What do you say?
Yeah, I think we can leave it here. And thanks for
Okay.
doing this. I think
Oh
it's
my God,
so
thank
generous of
you.
you to like share, you know, help other actors.
I love it. I love doing it. It's so interesting to hear how everyone has their different path and how it's worked out for you and how it continues to work out for everyone. But thank you for your time. Everyone, check out Christine on IMDb. Like, share, tell your friends. And Christine, hang out for 1 second. And goodbye, everyone else.
These are the parts I play, filling